lanes tonight.
Senator Jon Tester weighs in on the latest health care reform proposal in Washington.
And we honor the lives of two fallen heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice fighting fires.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on KPAX, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, I'm Jill Valley.
And I'm Dennis Bragg.
We begin with some breaking news tonight. We're happy to hear that nobody was hurt after multiple crashes shut down both lanes of I-90 near Tura tonight.
Pretty bad situation. A means alert was issued by Missoula County 911 around 8 o'clock that closed both lanes of I-90 on mile marker 115 until further notice. But both lanes have now reopened to traffic. At least one semi overturned and several other vehicles went off the road there near Tura. The Montana Highway Patrol continues to investigate. We have a reporter on the scene. We'll bring you more details as it becomes available both online and on air at KPAX.com, as well as full updates tomorrow on Montana This Morning.
We had another wet and cool day in western Montana. How much more rain and mountain snow do we expect? Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Aaron Yost now in the Storm Tracker Weather Center.
You know, we continue to see some of that scattered mountain snow and valley rain as we speak, but a lot of it will kind of taper off as we move into the overnight hours. We're not done with the apparent low pressure system yet, though. Things will stay pretty cool and unsettled as we close out the work week, so we're going to have to get used to this sort of image. This was taken earlier in Hamilton from our First Security Bank iCam, showing you those low clouds and the wet streets. But you know what? I haven't heard many complaints here in the Weather Center. This pattern change that we've seen recently has been awesome, especially compared to what we have seen as we closed out the summer season. Speaking of closing out the summer season, we officially switch over to fall this coming Friday. I've got that fall-like forecast on the way.
Law enforcement gave the all clear after a Mineral County school was evacuated this afternoon due to a bomb threat. The Missoula County Police K-9 unit searched St. Regis School after a note was found in a locker room written on a dollar bill around 4:15 claiming there was a bomb in the building. Superintendent Joe Steele says students involved with athletics and those after-school activities were promptly evacuated to the community center where they were picked up by their parents. Steele says school will resume on time tomorrow. The contested case over a proposed water bottling plant near Creston continued today. The issue is over a decision to grant a water use permit to the Montana Artesian Water Company.
Our Nicole Miller has been following the case all week. She says the big debate today was over water testing.
Groundwater hydrologist Attila Folnage testified Wednesday. He oversaw and validated that water testing requirements were met in the company's quest to open the plant near Creston. Though law requires application forms be filled out completely, there were numerous items left out, like the depth of the well. But Folnage says that information wasn't important and determined there would be no adverse effects to leaving it out.
That information is required to ensure the reliability and the accuracy of the aquifer tests that are conducted to show the legal availability of water in these cases. And so it's not an optional criteria to include the dimensions of the well, the depth of the perforated zones. Those are required information under the law.
You know, there's been a lot of talk about this Form 633 and the fact that it's not completed and that it's not in complete compliance with regulatory code, with the ARM. I think what you're hearing from the experts that use those forms, use that data, says it's inconsequential to the actual analysis. He didn't need the information that was lacking on those forms to complete the necessary analysis.
Expert testimony will continue Thursday with applicant of the permit and owner of the Montana Artesian Water Company, Lou Weaver, expected to take the stand. Reporting in Kalispell, Nicole Miller, MTN News.
Republican senators are pushing forward with their latest plan to repeal and replace Obamacare. The proposed plan from Senators Bill Cassidy and Lindsey Graham would give states, instead of the federal government, more flexibility on how to provide health care for their residents.
MTN's Kent Lutzen spoke with Senator Jon Tester about his thoughts on this last-ditch effort to repeal the Affordable Care Act.
The truth is McConnell has already said, who is the leader of the Senate, there's going to be a vote next week. And I can tell you there is being a lot of pressure being applied to senators to try to get them to vote for this bill, even though it may be the worst of the four bills we've looked at now, far worse than the previous three.
Tester said this bill would kick people off of their health plan, raise rates, threaten coverage for people with a pre-existing condition, and strain the Montana Veteran Affairs. President of the Montana Hospital Association, Dick Brown, agrees with Tester, adding that this bill would jeopardize many lives that are covered today.
First of all, there is no requirement on the states, if the money comes in the block fund, there's no requirement for them to put it in coverage. So with a lot of state budgets like Montana's worrying about other areas, there may be money distributed in directions that would not support what we're trying to accomplish here with coverage.
Another major concern for Senator Tester is the caps and cuts of federal funding for Medicaid, a move he says threatens rural hospitals, nursing homes, and care for disabled children.
If you're a great big hospital and you have volume, you might be able to survive this. But if you're not, if you're like a Cut Bank or a Roundup or a Big Sandy or a Chester, and the list goes on and on and on, you're not going to have that volume. And if that charity care goes up, it's going to put you at risk of closure.
Senator Tester admitted Obamacare has its problems, but believes this new proposed health care bill is not the answer either. Reporting in Missoula, Kent Lutzen, MTN News.
Tester added if the proposed bill is passed, it would change a 52-year relationship Medicaid has had with the states.
The second of four candidates vying for the president's seat at the University of Montana explains why he's the right person for the job during a campus visit this afternoon.
Dr. Andrew Hale Feinstein says his proven record of bolstering student enrollment and retention makes him a prime candidate for this job. MTN's Eric Clements reports.
Dr. Andrew Hale Feinstein is provost at San Jose State University, one of the largest public comprehensive universities in the western United States. He's the chief academic officer for more than 35,000 students across 154 degree programs, and he wants to bring that experience to the University of Montana as its next president. He says UM's various top-tier programs drew him west.
You have world-class programs in the humanities. Your journalism program is a 100-year-old program that's nationally recognized. Your creative writing programs are outstanding. Your forestry programs are world renowned. You have a lot of wonderful programs here that I'd like to be a part of.
While at SJSU, Dr. Feinstein worked hard to increase student retention. He discovered many students would leave school due to financial issues, so he championed a micro-loan program to help keep those in dire financial straits enrolled.
Something as simple as a couple $100 would have made the difference in them staying in college. And so we instituted a program that supports our students in finding those resources, even for a short period of time.
He says if selected to lead UM, he will be highly visible on and around campus and will engage with students and faculty as often as possible.
Whether they be in small groups like over breakfast or lunch, or in large forums like what we saw today, and in listening to students and their concerns. A lot of, I think, the concerns and angst, it could be around understanding what the extent of the issues and challenges are and what strategies are being looked at to address them.
In Missoula, Eric Clements, MTN News.
The next candidate, Seth Bodner, will hold a public forum during his campus visit this Friday inside the UC Theater. That begins at 3:30 and then will be followed by a community reception at 5:15.
Next, our unprecedented fire season in Montana has destroyed homes, livelihoods, and burned more than 1 million acres.
But the true cost was the lives of 2 firefighters. Coming up later on MTN, we'll pay tribute to those fallen firefighters who made the ultimate sacrifice to keep us safe. Still ahead here on MTN.